Well, with some minority of the United fan base calling out for the sacking of Erik Ten Hag for abysmal start of the season of 2023-2024, we have a very huge story coming in from Simon Stone. This is a correspondent of United for the BBC and has been reporting and doing this business for 30 years. Welcome to the United Matters channel. The Ten Hag fate is waiting Sir Jim Ratcliffe, obviously, to make a decision because it's said that it's going to be the head of all footballing decisions at the club of Manchester United. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And we are here to obviously bring you the latest that you guys deserve. And we also have a story coming in from Paul Mitchell being part of this, and the story is built on Erik Ten Hag, Paul Mitchell, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And we thank God for the gift of life. It's a Friday for the Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum for the Christians. May the living to God bless you abundantly. And we're here to obviously broadcast to you and bring you the latest news and information coming in from the side of Manchester United. Simon Stone from the BBC has told us that Manchester United's ownership situation needs a quicker resolution to bring greater clarity to Erik Ten Hag's position. Numerous sources connected to the club say so. Now, this is really important. You know, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is really one of those that we anticipate to come in through and take 25% of the club, but no one can confirm to you as to why this is taking long to obviously happen. That is the most important bit of it all. You need to know that as it stands, no one knows exactly what is boiling in between Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers, but it looks like he's not the guy, the Glazers aren't the guy responsible for making a decision. And the last time we had this story, it indicated that the Glazers also want Joel Glazer to be part of the decision making for the club of Manchester United. And I think that is why Sir Jim Ratcliffe is not obviously going on with these people because he believes that they've gone ahead to make bad decisions at the club of Man United, footballing, and why should Joe Glazer coming through and obviously make this? It's like they're bringing someone to rectify the footballing hierarchy of Man United, rectify it and make it one of the best in the world. When you look at what Sir Jim Ratcliffe has in a picture, it's going to help Man United because when you look at the new CEO is willing to hire, he has worked at Juventus, one of the most successful clubs on the European continent, and he's really reputable. Look at the director of football wants to bring in through, Paul Mitchell. They're really good and they're proven. You know, they've scouted players like Eden Hazard, you know, Sadio Mane, Song Heung-min. You know, he worked with Pochettino for all the years that he was successful, and when he left, Pochettino couldn't obviously succeed because he never had a sporting director that was really in line with what he wanted. So, as people go in for Erik Ten Hag, they should get to know how has Man City gone ahead to obviously reach where they are. So, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is the man in waiting to see to it that they give us a beautiful resolution. So, if it's like that, that means we might see a resolution taken of Erik Ten Hag around February next year or March. Why? It will take a month for the Premier League to approve Sir Jim Ratcliffe to come in through to take the 25%, and that month will be like December. After all that, the January transfer window comes in through to obviously start, and that will be a moment of really backing up the manager. That is it. After backing up the manager, then they will see how he's obviously going to perform. And I believe they'll leave him until the end of the season and obviously see to it that if at all he has not gone ahead to impress Paul Mitchell, then they sack him. Or they say, we are going to give you a summer transfer window that you want and see how good you are. Because let no one lie to you that Erik Ten Hag has gone ahead to ever receive a transfer window that he deserves, you know. He wanted Darwin Núñez, he wanted Julian Timber, he wanted Frankie de Jong, and he never got any of those, you know. And he wanted Cody Gakpo, he never got him. He wanted João Felix, he never got him. You get? So He wanted very many players, but he couldn't get none of those. So it obviously goes back to who is going to be the decision maker of that. But it shows you that we are still into a very, very, very bad situation. And there is a guy who is a lawyer who calls it a quagmire, the quagmire that we are into. But I really believe that we'll overcome this. But the only way we are first going to overcome this is to rectify the hierarchy of Man United. The Glazers, if they had reputable people running this club, no one would have gone ahead to be looking at them, because these people will be having solutions for any problem or any question that raises, any question that raised at the club of Man United, they would have gone ahead to find an answer. But what shows you that the CEOs of Man United, ever since the father of the Glazers died, and the so-called director of football, John Mata, are really ignorant on how to run a club like Manchester United. When you look at Edu, because he knows that building a club to where it was, it's a process. Even when the fans had said, let's sack Mikel Arteta, every season, leave alone that season he came into and won an FA Cup. Now, 2020, 2021, they finished 8th. The fans of Arsenal called for the sacking of Mikel Arteta. The season of 2021, 2022, Arsenal started off badly. They lost their first 3 games. I still remember them like yesterday. They were beaten by Brentford. They were beaten by Chelsea. They were beaten by Manchester City. The fans were calling for the sacking of the manager. And Edu and the board of Man United and the board of Arsenal stood to their plan, And at the end of the season, Arsenal finished 5th, And at the season of 2022-2023, they almost clinched the trophy. So that's what a competent board does. And if at all Erik Ten Hag gets a competent board ahead of him, then they can sit down and really draw a plan that we want to be playing like this, and we are going to give you 2 good years or 3 years to build what you want. And we are going to back you 100%, like Arsenal's going to hate to do to Mikel Arteta, and we want to see results. So the fate of Erik Ten Hag is really waiting in for one player, that is none other than Erik Ten. That is none other than Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Now we have another source close to the United board, and he's known as United Mapteers. He brings in United news, and he's really popular onto X, close to 300,000 followers onto his X account. Now, he has told us that it has been communicated to Joe Glazer that Paul Mitchell is the person Ineos would like to bring in as a Manchester United sporting director. You get? So, Joe Glazer has been told that Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe want to bring in a sporting director, meaning that a man who has been ruining our transfer windows without a plan, John Mata, is obviously going to really get out of the club of Man United. That's a very huge achievement. Guys, that's a one step in the right direction. You get? And you will all thank me one day when you really remember my words. But I would like to let you know that it's a very big decision that has been made by Man United, and obviously the man himself that goes by the names of Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos. He also went ahead and added and said, Ineos want the sporting director that they bring to Manchester United to make a lot of major decisions at the club. They will set the playing style, the ethics, the philosophy, and they will have a manager who aligns with that, and they will recruit best on that. Paul Mitchell is the preferred option. So, Paul Mitchell is one of those the sporting directors that are really reputable. And you remember one day when the under-19s of Man United were playing into the Champions League, Paul Mitchell was seated with Rangnick, and they are really good friends. And it shows you that Rangnick had gone ahead to make good choices for Man United, but the board went ahead to betray him and not get him those players. Trust me, the players he talked about are all playing at big clubs. Konrad Laimer is playing at Bayern Munich. Julian Alves is playing at Manchester City. Akanji is playing at Manchester City. Enzo Fernandez is playing at Chelsea. Michele is playing at Bayern Munich. Who else? So those 5 players that he wanted, he had told the board of United to go in and get in those players because he knows that they were groomed in an atmosphere that helps them to thrive in a better side. Look, Julian Alves was bought by Man City at £20 million. We went ahead and get in Rasmus Højlund for £72 million, And that's what the board of United don't notice. If at all you're having a very good sporting director, he'll say, let's go for that £20 million guy. He's going to develop into a very good player, because we are building a team for the future. Enzo Fernandez, we would have gone ahead to get him for like £30 million, Akanji was available for like £20 million, Conrad Lema was available for like 20, 25, 30 million pounds, meaning that with 200 million pounds, we would have gone ahead to build a structure of players that are really, really good. So that's the beauty of this guy as a sporting director. And I really believe that he needs to come in through, do a thorough checkup. And after that, he comes up with a report, and that dossier will be sent to the CEO. And obviously, he'll have to sit with Erik Ten Hag. That's why I told you that it's hard for Erik Ten Hag to leave as people think he's going to leave, because he's not the problem, And Sir Jim Ratcliffe won't say that, let's sack Erik Ten Hag. He'll say, no, let's first get in the sporting director to get to know exactly what's wrong with the club. Erik Ten Hag needs to speak out, and really tell us what he wants. We sit down here, we discuss on the philosophy as a club, then we agree how do we want to play, and which players should we keep and which players should we let go. Now, if Erik Ten Hag sits down with the sporting director and the CEO and they agree that Harry Maguire should go, Anton Martial should go, Donny van de Beek should go, Scott McTominay should go, Aaron Wan-Bissaka should go, name it. You get? And they sell those players off because Sir Jim Ratcliffe will be having money. He'll say, all right, if Harry Maguire is going for £20 million, let him go, because he has money with him to spend. The other one will tell you that if Scott McTominay, sell him for like £30 million, let's get that money in. Donny van de Beek, let's get in like 10 or 15 million euros. Let's get in the player. You understand? And that will be something important for the club of Man United. So we need him as soon as possible to come in through and really take us to what we want to be. Now, as we climax this story, let's see what the 25% of Sir Jim Ratcliffe is all about. The Telegraph Football is confirming to us that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's proposed deal worth up to 1.35 billion is still advancing, but financial negotiations are still being thrashed out. With no imminent announcement anticipated within the next weeks, sources maintain that a deal remains within sight, and the sale is not believed to be in jeopardy despite ongoing days. Now, huge update coming from the Telegraph that the sale of United, or the 25% sale of Man United, is not in jeopardy, because we as fans, we are really worried and are starting to create our own theories because we are not being updated. So an update is coming in from Telegraph that it's not going obviously hit a dead end, right? It's just a matter of them thrashing out certain financial issues, and they obviously take that to the board. The board votes on it, and after voting on it, it will be taken to the Premier League for approval, and then Sir Jim Ratcliffe will obviously start off his work. And that's why I tell you that no one can sack Erik Ten Hag now, because lots of things are really going in the club of Man United that most of the people are not obviously concentrated on what is happening on the field of play, and that goes back to the Glazers not knowing what to do in the preseason, because in the preseason they would have gone ahead to obviously see this come to an end, So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Tell me your thoughts about Ten Hag fate waiting for Sir Jim Ratcliffe. A welcome in the comment section below. Paul Michu is going to be the sporting director of Man United. The Glazers have been told. Your thoughts onto that are welcome in the comment section below. Good morning. Rokan David or RD is my name. I'm out. See you when you see me, my lovely mates. The Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum and Juma Kareem.